He's like, okay, I don't understand why I can't feel better. And he said, like his wife was holding his hand. And he said, I don't get it because I'm successful. I've had a first wife. My kids are old. They're doing fine. I have multiple homes. I have land. I have everything. I have money. But I just don't seem to understand why I'm not happy. This stuff are crazy. Hey y'all, Fisa here. So I wanted to react a little bit on a video today. The video is from Angelo, and the title of the video is, does anybody else feel like they will never be happy? So this video came out like less than 24 hours ago. And I think like YouTube showing me these videos. You know, I was talking about loneliness in my last video. And obviously loneliness goes a lot with depression. So in the video, so I don't know Angelo. I've seen him here and there sometimes, but you know, it's a bit emotional. I will leave the link down below. I usually tag people in my videos. So if you click on the description box, you can actually find their channel all the time. So I wanted to talk about the video and a couple of things he said.
Does anyone else feel like they will never be happy? I do. It's not a rhetorical question. Make no mistake, I certainly feel happiness. In fact, I've been so happy recently that I wasn't thinking about any of this at all. I was going to make a video about the VMAs.
This is a gentleman who is 26, like sort of half my age. And I have to say that I want to clap for him first off. Angelo, if you watch this, I'm clapping. I'm clapping because I love it when people realize something as quick as possible and try to figure it out. I think that I've had this thing since forever. I think he said that he has is from the time he was 4. And I think a lot of us... First, let me actually just put a little like parenthesis here. I think there are people who are depressed, and I'm going to explain it. And I think there are people who have mental, like, oh, I'm not feeling well, sort of thing. And I have like mental health issue, which is momentarily complaining, not really doing as good as, and it's not depression. And I think when I see him, and I think a couple of us, when we see each other, we can actually recognize each other. It's just having that feeling of not belonging, like anywhere. It's not like we don't have friends. It's not like we're not kind. Actually, most people that have this sort of depression are people who are like super kind. That are people who are going to turn around and see somebody not doing like very well and, you know, go and be like, oh, sometimes they're even like, you know, we tease people a little bit, we goofy a little bit, we're like, oh. You know, we always try to make people smile, because I think that through that, we kind of just are okay for a moment. We are okay. But when we really sit, and it's funny that it says that usually when you look at a picture of you, you know at that moment you were really not doing well. And I think he nailed it. And I think one of the way that you nail it and you figure it out, as you say, it's just taking a breath, try to not think about it, and go one day at a time. I've been to rehab, and this is something that I really know. One day at a time. It's not a narcotics thing. It's just one day at a time. Sometimes you just go to sleep, you're crying yourself to sleep, and the next day it's a little bit better, and it really goes like... That is how it goes. And you survive it. At some point you realize that you have been surviving this. So is it good enough to just survive it? I don't think so. But at the same time, it is already a good thing. He's going to talk about his mom. I think most of us also survive this because of people that we know love us. They're there and you're like, I cannot actually cross this line, because this, if I'm already suffering, just the thought about like a parent of yours, a loved one of yours, probably not surviving this, that is sometimes something that also weirdly enough, saves us from not crossing that line that we don't want to cross. At the end of the day, we don't want to cross it. So kudos to him, because this is a way of doing it. Let me just continue the video a little bit, but I have something to add. I'll add it after he speaks.
Now I sort of realize I have been doing this forever, and I'm fine. It's like the weirdest thing is I thought I would be happy. I thought something was going to fix me. I thought I was going to change, and I've always known it was impossible.
I used to get so triggered by media intended to help people with depression. These things wind up helping a lot of people, like millions of people. But for me, it always kind of felt like a slap in the face, because there was an insinuation that like one day you're not gonna feel like this. Stay here, don't do something you'll regret, because one day you're not gonna feel like this.
And I think nobody wants to be a burden for anybody else. Nobody wants to feel. And when you say the thing of 4 years old, I can remember exactly when I started feeling like that. And I remember I was sitting on the couch at 4 or 5 also, and I was watching the news. Like, I was not watching the news, but it was on TV. And I was by myself on a couch like that in Ivory Coast. And I saw so many things, so many crazy things. When you're growing up in Africa, there's a lot of kids begging on the streets in a lot of places. It's not uncommon. There's a lot of, and they were talking about this war that's restarted, Middle East. And that war has been like there forever. And I don't know, I just looked at it and it broke my heart. I think like even back then, it broke my heart. And I actually wondered, if the world is just that nice, why is there so many problems in it? And I think that when you ask yourself a question like that, when you feel like you don't fit in, like you're a puzzle that don't fit in, that wants to fit in, by the way, that you want to be good enough, you want to be able to just really laugh from the heart. It is so difficult to explain it. And I think that the time when I grew up, like a little bit of a decade back, I went to rehab. And in that rehab, like sometimes they used to like mix us up with other people, with somebody that you don't know at all, and you just sit in the session. And I think like they sort of realized that it's very easy when you look at somebody and see their problem, like, ooh, if I was you, I would be doing this and that and this and that. And ironically, you have the same problem, but you can't see it in you. So they just try to confront you with somebody else's problem. And they sat me with this old man, like retired person. So he was there, his wife was there, the doc was there, and like he was holding his hand, and the doc asked him like, "Are you okay?" The question that most of us that are like deep down depressed, we don't like that question, because we have to face ourselves. And he said, "Yes, I'm fine," which is apparently a term that we are not supposed to say, "I'm fine," because no. This is what they told me. And then they asked him again, like, "How you feeling?" And he had to express, when somebody asks you this and you really have to face and say the truth. My heart was pounding for him. He's like, "Okay, I don't understand why I can't feel better." And he said, like his wife was holding his hand. And he said, "I don't get it because I'm successful. I've had a first wife. My kids are old. They're doing fine. I have multiple homes. I have land. I have everything. I have money. But I just don't seem to understand why I'm not happy." This stuff are crazy. And I've always been scared of that, even in the situation where I am today. I'm like, when I work out my shit, build a house, make sure that my parents are okay and stuff, I am so scared. And I think it goes for everybody to see that if you're really that sort of depression that clearly a couple of us have, you're always scared to for this bad feeling to not go away. Not crying on my last day of 39. So, I'm not crying. So that's the thing. You and it's weird because it saves us sometimes. That's what I like about it. Like when you get really like in the darkness, it saves us. And I'm happy that D'Angelo and some people have figured out this, because some people manage to feel what makes them happy. He says that he feels happy. I also feel it sometimes, I'm one of those people who is happy when I make other people happy. There's just something about me. If I can help you out with this and that, it makes me feel a bit more, valuable to the planet, or something like that. It is. It is going to be fine. And that's the only thing that matters, I think, for people like us, is to just tell yourself, if you're already in that moment, that's the best place that you can be at. That's the place where you try to figure out slowly. I think if you don't have any other problems, not really other problems, but that, it's even easier. I try multiple things. I go to orphanage, I give blood, I do a couple of things, not all at the same time, but I try to figure out without trying to risk to get back depression. Not something that is really going to get my life crazy. You just try. You try a little bit here, a little bit there. Does this thing makes you a little bit happy? Because to me, it's actually being busy enough to not get exhausted enough, and to just try to figure out what makes you like, just smile, just have this thing a little bit. And I feel like sometimes you even, again, as I say, I feel like people don't realize it. And for people who don't have it or not sure, don't see everybody negatively. But always be careful of people who just like sometimes do too much. I'm thinking about Robbie Williams right now, because there's this song that I was singing like a couple of days ago. Don't worry, be happy. And he's in that video and you see him like smiling all the time. And a lot of us just smile through life. And sometimes we don't try to figure it out. And I think this is what I've realized now. It's okay to me to just be fine, as long as from time to time I try to figure it out. And I think that I'm so proud of this gentleman. I've watched until the end, and I'm not going to just play his old video, but, well, not right now, but he's trying to figure it out. Don't sit around and not do anything, because usually that's what makes you feel crazy. But at the same time, try to figure it out. Because I believe, and I see people being happy, and I always say, even to my father is always like laughing. He's like always smiling, laughing. And I'm like, why are you like this? I've asked him, and I don't think that he realized that I'm just in depression as much. But it's always like, well, it's better to smile than to just be pissed all the time. For him, it's just like, it's a way of life. It's like the kind of person, like kumbaya person, always happy about everything, And sometimes I'm not trying to do that. Like I get up in the morning and I smile stupidly. I sit on my bike, I go somewhere, I go. And at some point, actually, I was driving the bike and somebody was like, why are you smiling? I'm like, yeah, let's try smiling. And it actually helps somebody else to smile, and it then helps you because you have somebody smile. So I think that we have to push that button carefully. I don't have the answers because I'm not a doctor or anything of the sort. I just feel like those sort of videos are just like incredible, because I think that there is way more people that are really not happy with life. Some of them for other problems, like momentarily problems. But when you're in this position where it's like in your core, and when you've had it since you were a kid and you feel like kind of awkward, although you have friends and family and stuff, it's not easy, like at all. So kudos to D'Angelo for sharing this. It is going to be better. It's going to be better when you're like aware of it and you're working for that. I think to me it's always going to be better, because it's while we actually want to not talk about it, smile in front of people, and then like, never take the time for us. That is actually that is the first problem. So the fact that he took the time to work on that. So voila. Talking a little bit of that. This is my last day in my 30s. I've not had a good 30s all around. I'll talk about that here and there. I think there's a lot of things to learn from that. But the great thing, or the good thing, is I've decided to completely try to change my life. So everything I've said, I've started putting that in action. And damn, my 40s is going to be great. It's going to be like banging. I'm going to have like my best body, my best life. I'm going to try hard, fine. I'm just, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to feel that happiness, get my life together, feel free, travel. We're going to make it. Ciao.